What's going on, guys? This is Austin Sweet here coming at you again with another one for you guys today. And today, as voted by you guys on Instagram, that's right, Season 4 of Wrestling Talk, or the rest of Season 4 of Wrestling Talk, will be done in the form of a podcast. That's right. So, every Tuesday will be a brand new episode of Wrestling Talk. But like I said, it's going to be in podcast form. So, really want to thank you guys for voting on my Instagram. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump into today's episode. Today, I thought I would combine one of my favorite series here on YouTube with this episode. And I'm going to be talking about my top 5 NXT Takeover matches. So, I have a list. And I just want to go ahead and jump right into this. So we're going to go from number 5 and work my way down to my favorite NXT TakeOver match. So kicking things off at number 5 is Samoa Joe versus Finn Balor for the NXT Championship in a steel cage at NXT TakeOver The End. All I'm going to say is this was a really good match between the two, obviously. I mean, Joe and Finn, the Demon Finn, I should say, this was an incredible match. I mean, both competitors gave it their all. They were partners in the Dusty Rhodes Cup, and then they turned to be bitter enemies. In my humble opinion, this match was probably their best match. I mean, all the action throughout was just absolutely amazing. And how it ended was Samoa Joe giving Finn Balor the Muscle Buster off the top rope to win the match and retain the NXT Championship. So that's my number 5, Samoa Joe versus Finn Balor in a steel cage for the NXT Championship at NXT TakeOver The End. So coming in at number 4 is DIY, which is the team of Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa versus the team of Akam and Razor, the Authors of Pain, in a ladder match for the NXT Tag Team Championships at NXT TakeOver Chicago. What a match between these two teams. I mean, this match was just absolutely brilliant from beginning to end. I will have to say, though, DIY thought they had the match won, but in the end, AOP won the match. I'll go ahead and say this, though. A bunch of high spots in this match. I mean, if you really want some good high spots, check this match out. I mean, from the dueling splashes from Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa onto AOP on the ladders, that was just amazing. I'll go ahead and say this match was incredible. In the end, AOP retained the titles, and this is also the same takeover where Tommaso Ciampa turned heel and broke up DIY. So if you really want to see how that happened, check that match out towards the end. So yeah, after the match, Tommaso Ciampa turned heel and beat up Johnny Gargano, and that would lead into one of the best, if not the best, rivalries in NXT history between Gargano and Ciampa. So that's number 4, DIY versus AOP, NXT TakeOver Chicago. Number 3 is the Undisputed Era versus Team Pat Mcafee. That would be Pat McAfee, Oney Lorcan, Danny Burch, and Pete Dunne at NXT TakeOver War Games 2020. All I'm going to say is, holy Toledo, this match had it all. High spots after high spots after high spots. Both men gave it their all. The men in the match gave it their all. Both teams gave it their all. But in the end, Undisputed Era wound up winning the match. Pat McAfee, I didn't expect him to be like a pro wrestler, but when he first entered NXT and started like trash talking and dogging on NXT, that was kind of crazy. I was actually kind of surprised that Pat McAfee could wrestle. I mean, the jump off the steel cage was just amazing. The moonsault through the table, or him being put through a table, was also really good. The bitter end onto the chair, that was really impressive by Pete Dunne. But overall, I am a huge fan of the Undisputed Era. Too bad they broke up. And the promos that Pat McAfee and Adam Cole had before Takeover War Games was just impressive. So that's number 3. Undisputed Era versus Team Pat McAfee, Takeover War Games 2020. Alright, coming down to it, number 2 is Kyle O'Reilly versus Adam Cole in an unsanctioned match at Takeover Stand and Deliver. The bitter hatred between O'Reilly and Cole leading into this event was indescribable. After the previous Takeover, before Stand and Deliver, Finn Balor retained the NXT Championship, got ganged up on. Then the Undisputed Era came out to help Balor. Balor got super kicked by Cole. And then Cole super kicked O'Reilly, thus kicking off the chain of events that would lead to this match. Excuse me. This match really had it all. I mean, a lot of awesome high spots, especially the Brainbuster on the steps, them going through the stage, the Brainbuster on the announcer's desk. I mean, a lot of good matches, or a lot of good moments, I meant to say. A lot of good moments in this match, but in the end, O'Reilly wrapped a steel chain around his knee, jumped off the top rope with his bombs away knee drop, and he wound up winning the match. And then Adam Cole got stretchered out. And then their rivalry continued up until the recent Takeover, where they fought in the 3 stages of hell, and O'Reilly won that, and then on NXT television they had another match, and Cole won that as well. So overall, great rivalry between the two, and that's my number 2 spot. Kyle O'Reilly versus Adam Cole, Takeover Stand and Deliver, which in my opinion was their best match out of their whole rivalry. Now, as far as honorable mentions is concerned, it's really, really hard for me to come up with some honorable mentions because there's just too many matches for me to pick. But if I had to pick an honorable mention, I'd say, and I can't remember the takeovers right offhand, but Santos Escobar versus Jordan Devlin for the vacant NXT Cruiserweight Championship, or the Undisputed NXT Cruiserweight Championship. Cameron Grimes versus LA Knight in the ladder match for the $1 Million Championship. And my other one is going to be Pete Dunne versus Tyler Bate for the NXT UK Championship. That match alone is a freaking banger. But now we've come down to the number 1 spot in my top 5 NXT TakeOver list. And at number 1, it is Johnny Gargano versus Adam Cole for the vacant NXT Championship in a 2 out of 3 falls match at Takeover New York. Holy cow, man, what a match this was. These two gave it their all, a lot of good high spots. Now you're probably wondering why the NXT Championship was vacant around this time. Around this time, it was Takeover New York, and Tommaso Ciampa suffered a severe neck injury that would actually put him out for the rest of the year, either the year or the last few months. So he had no choice but to vacate the NXT Championship, and Johnny Gargano and Adam Cole went one-on-one with each other at TakeOver New York, and these two tore the house down. And you could tell, these last 3 matches all involved Adam Cole. Yes, I was an Adam Cole fan when he was in NXT. He's in AEW now. These two tore the house down. I mean, a bunch of good high spots. My favorite high spot in the match was when Johnny Gargano was on the outside. He took out the Undisputed Era, and he got back into the ring. He took a last shot, and he kicked out. One of the best highlights in the match, in my opinion. That was literally one of the best highlights. And then Gargano locked in the Gargano Escape to win the NXT Championship for the first, and I think only time, to become NXT Champion. He won that match 2-1, and then in the end, Tommaso Ciampa, his old rival, came out and embraced him at the end of the show. It was just a phenomenal moment. So that's my number 1. Johnny Gargano versus Adam Cole in a 2 out of 3 falls match for the vacant NXT Championship at NXT Takeover New York. So yeah, guys, that is it. That is it for Season 4, Episode 5 of Wrestling Talk. Really want to thank you guys for tuning in. Like I said, the remainder of Season 4 will be in podcast format. So I really want to thank you guys for voting on my Instagram for that. And that's it for this episode, guys. So thank you very much for tuning in. If you enjoyed, please like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure you hit the bell notification down below so you don't miss any more of my videos. Subscribe to the second channel, my second channel, the Horror Movie Freak. And also subscribe to the channel that I run alongside Joe, Horror After Dark. Check that channel out if you haven't already. Thanks for listening, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one.